I'm Rob Oberg. Welcome to Wreckers Hotline Drag Racing 98. Today's Travel Air Tours Pro Stock Challenge marks the first round of the new track championship season, and also a first for Willowbank Raceway with a wedding happening on the start line. But the feature of today's event is a non-championship round for all of the Pro Stock heroes. Tanya Campbell's down in the pits with the defending Australian champion.
Thanks, Rob. The Travel Air Tours Pro Stock Challenge is seen as the unofficial start to the Pro Stock season. Although it's not a round of the Australian Championship, it's considered vital by many Queensland racers as it provides them with an opportunity to test under full race conditions prior to the first title event. Now, many racers tonight will be attempting to get on top of brand new combinations. Therefore, every racer will have at least 4 passes down the track during qualifying and racing, and the importance of that track time really can't be overstated. Now, one noticeable absentee from tonight's racing will be defending Australian champion Rob Tucker. Rob and the Performance Wholesale team have been sidelined due to the late arrival of components for his new engine. Rob, what sort of a disadvantage will missing tonight's meeting mean to your defence of the title?
Well, Tanya, it will make probably a big difference because everyone's got 4 passes on us, you know. I mean, you just can't see that track time.
And there are 8 drivers here tonight, all with their eyes firmly set on that Travel Airs trophy. And on the sideline, you get to sit back and give us your pick.
Yeah, there's a couple. Craig Hasted, he just can't be discounted. Craig ran really well at the end of last season. And you got Joe Polito, national champ last year, and Joe's up here testing as well. 2 Fords. There's a few Chevys out there, but I sort of lean towards the Fords.
Okay, so you're not picking just one, you're hedging your bets there?
No, if I had to be a betting man, I'd be going for Craig Hasted.
Oh, well, thanks for that anyway, and best of luck in your championship defence in the coming season. Well, Rob, there you have it. Rob seems to think Craig Hasted is the top tip for tonight, and as far as I'm concerned, it's going to be tough out there whichever way it goes.
Thanks, Tanya. Well, qualifying was fairly dramatic this afternoon. A lot of the guys having trouble coming to grips with the Willowbank track. And one that didn't was Mike Riley. Unfortunately, last year's runner-up put his beautiful Camaro into the fence and has damaged it to a degree that he can't come back tonight. But it is going to be a very tough field. Joe Polito from Sydney in there. So we'll go down to the start line very shortly after the wedding and get underway with Travel Air Tours Pro Stock. Well, the nuptials are over and it's time to christen the first round of Travel Air Tours Pro Stock. And it is Kim Petterwood, the #1 qualifier. He has got a bye run. Cole Shaw, unfortunately, with the Oldsmobile damaging a transmission, wasn't able to make the first round, but knowing Kim Petterwood, he will be strapping this one all the way, Paul.
So the Lifestyle Pontiac about to make the first pass of the night. Plants the foot. Watching for a good time this time from Kim Petterwood, winding it up as he powers on through. Yes, runs through a 796, 273.
Good performance there from Kim, as now we've got Tony Wedlock in the Ultimate Financial Group Pontiac coming forward. He'll be facing Wayne Daly in this near-new Falcon. Great to see some Aussie-bodied cars into the field. The track's been a little bit slippery today. There has been a very strong westerly wind blowing all day and picking up dust from the construction site next door. The track staff have done a brilliant job to make the track raceable. And of course, Paul, the track is coming round now that the wind's dropped off, the sun's got off it. I think some of these guys will be able to start putting the horsepower to the ground.
Well, part of the exercise tonight, of course, not only to race for Travel Air Tours, but to do some testing in Pro Stock. A big season next year out here at Willowbank Raceway. Both of these competitors here among the very, very best that there is. And that great-looking Falcon there of Wayne Daly's, the all-Australian product, adding a new dimension to Pro Stock racing.
Yes, the Falcon had a few transmission problems this afternoon. The car didn't want to shift gears properly. Wayne and the crew have had the transmission out a couple of times. They think they've got it fixed now, but, well, Tony Wedlock, he's a tough customer, has done very little preparation for the meeting. He's running a tried and true setup in the Pontiac strongly, and I think he's going to go all the way.
Tony Wedlock in good form here tonight. Here he goes. Runs an 808 at 260 kilometres an hour.
Craig Hasted now. He's the man that Rob Tucker was tipping for the win in the Craig R Performance Usher Constructions car. Up against David Tucker. Rob's brother David is having his first run in Pro Stock Eliminator in his Camaro, taken the step up to the professional categories and has been doing very well this afternoon, but he really has come up against one of the hot shot favourites.
Yeah, Craig Hasted, the Thunderbird, really having a good year out here at Willowbank Raceway in 1998, and big things still to come for him. But Dave Tucker, gee whiz, this is a tough bracket to step into, but a seasoned racer he is. Let's see how he goes this time against Hasted.
Hasted comes out hard. He's trying a new rear end ratio in that car. Let's see what the figures come up. 835, 258. He won't be too impressed with that, but he's got the win points. That's what counts.
Rod O'Brien now, the Melbourne and O'Brien Pontiac.
It's a beautiful car put together by Mike Riley Race Cars, and he is taking on the former Australian champion Joe Polito in the Dynamax Ford Probe. This is the importance of the Travel Air Tours Pro Stock Challenge. It's not a championship event. There's no title points up for grabs, but it is their last hit out before the championship season proper starts. Polito has travelled up from Sydney just to be part of this and make some testing with his new transmission setup where he's using a shifter. That car is loose. Very, very loose. Rod O'Brien is going to, well, the rookie has put away the former Aussie champ.
Here an 853, 265.
Have a look at this on the Wreckers Hotline replay. O'Brien's car porpoising a fair bit, but Polito was way, way loose in that car.
And a bonus tonight for all drag racing fans at Willowbank Raceway is our top alcohol challenge. Two of the hard chargers in the sport, Steve Harker in the Harker Transport Funny Car, taking on Gary Phillips in the Lucas Oils Dragster.
This will be a great best of three match race. These guys also would like to get some test laps under their belts, try a few things, do a bit of testing before the Australian Championship for all the professional categories starts next month. So Steve Harker, he has got the fastest funny car in Australia, and of course Gary Phillips has got the quickest and fastest dragster in Australia. You put them together in top alcohol. How do you do that? Well, the dragster has a smaller engine. It's a lighter car, it has to have a smaller engine. The funny car, a lot more horsepower, but it's got the disadvantage of a shorter wheelbase and carrying a bit more weight. So the rules makers tell us that it all levels up, and going by the last season, it's been pretty close.
Both of these drivers have raced each other many times, but they're so competitive. Look at this for a great race. Gary Phillips, Harker, the funny car, gets there, 589, 379.
5 thousandths of a second across the finish line. Harker wins it on the start line reaction. You can't get much closer than that.
Trial basis just over 18 months ago, Wreckers Hotline Top Comp has become a true success story. The class was created to service local needs here at Willowbank and caters for all types of supercharged vehicles. Sedans, dragsters, hot rods, buckets and funny cars all race together using the Dial Your Own handicap system. Now this evens up the competition to such a degree that most races have become hard-fought affairs, and winning margins are being measured by the mere thousandths of a second in many cases. Last season's track championship saw 6 races, each heading into the final round with a genuine shot at the title, before victory was finally snatched by Tom Coonan and the barest of all possible margins. With this sort of continuing support, it's fairly obvious that the future of Wreckers Hotline Top Comp Eliminator is extremely bright here at Willowbank Raceway.
Certainly is a quickly growing category. New cars just about every race meeting we come to. Debbie Reed has got one of the quickest with her small block Chevy powered dragster, and she's up against Steve Swinscoe in the Super Performance funny car. Swinscoe led most of the season last year and just got pipped at the last meeting.
Debbie Reed and the crew been stepping up the performance since we saw them here last at Willowbank Raceway, now with a 1471 blower on the top of it, producing more horsepower. I guess the question is, Rob, can she run 200 mile an hour out here tonight?
Well, she's been getting closer and closer, that's for sure, but Steve Reed, her husband, who's also tuning this car, he likes to take things fairly conservatively, one step at a time. And the problem is, once you get into racing, you don't want to make any big advancements because you need consistency on the dial your own handicap system. That's what she'll be looking for. She'll want to run into that 680 zone. She knows she's got to catch Swinsko, and he is not easy to catch.
No, she'll have to pedal hard, and she's doing that right now. Swinsko, Debbie Reed, 6:89, 3:18.
Swinsko with a big breakout. He ran quicker than his nominated handicap time. That leads a breakout. He loses. Dean McLennan next to the funny cars. He'll be hoping he doesn't do the same.
Yes, Dean McLennan for Castrol, taking on the Ford LTD from Toowoomba, and of course that's Tom Coonan.
Coonan in the Holtz Crane Hire car. He is the defending Wreckers Hotline Top Comp champion. Took it right down to the semi-final of the last round of the series before he defeated Russell Schaefer to get that position. Here it is, the opening race of the new year, and you can guarantee he is wanting to start with a win. Dean McLennan, he's been getting quicker and quicker in this car. I think he's headed for top alcohol sooner or later.
Waiting now for those lights to go to green as they do.
Red light for Tom Coonan. It's on the tree. It's all over for him. Here comes McLennan anyway. 682, 198. That is fast.
So, yeah, a win there, and we'll see him back in the next round. Next pairing to come forward now, Scott Jansen, driving this supercharged HQ Holden, and this time he's taking on John Payne.
John Payne, one of the heavy hitters of Wreckers Hotline Top Comp in the JP Racing Corvette. Scott Jansen, look at the amount of smoke inside the cabin of that HQ Holden. Top Comp, of course, for supercharged cars, be they sedans or open vehicles such as dragsters. But the crowd, they love these sedan matchups. Now, there's going to be a fair sort of handicap start here. Jansen will really have to try something on the start line.
John Payne just setting the telltale there on the tachometer in the Chevy Corvette, about to chase him down now. Getting a little loose there is Jansen.
Yeah, Jansen right over near the sideline. That cost him dearly. John Payne's got time to shut off and brake, and still cruises through for a handy win. Here's Michael Davey with his all-new Monaro. No sign writing yet, not even any headlights painted on it. He'll take on Russell Schaefer.
So Russell Schaefer looking forward to another good season here at Willowbank Raceway. But this new car of Michael Davies is really all new. Not only a new body shape for him, stepping from an HK Holden into the Monaro, but also a new engine combination as well.
Certainly is. He's gone from the Chevys across to the aluminium kit black Chrysler copies that we find right through everything from top door slammer to top fuel. Obviously not running that sort of horsepower yet. Come out fairly evenly, two clean greens, but the dragster is going to do the better of this one, I think. Schaefer through the lights, 7:58, 267.4 kilometres an hour. During the September school holidays, the 1998 Rocket Industries Junior Dragster titles were held at Willowbank Raceway. The event was originally scheduled to be held in Sydney, but problems with the venue meant that the titles were actually cancelled just 3 weeks before the scheduled date. Upon hearing the news, dedicated supporters of junior drag racing in South Queensland banded together to rescue the event on very short notice. The results were fantastic, with almost 40 stars of the future from as far afield as Adelaide, Mackay and even New Zealand taking part in a fun-filled day. Racing over an 8 mile or 200 metres, some of these budding Victor Brays and Rochelle Splats reached speeds of over 120 kilometres an hour. That's quicker than any average street car in the short distance, and quite a ride for kids aged between 8 and 16. The whole focus was on the kids enjoying themselves, and they got the opportunity to race repeatedly in an assortment of categories, from boys versus girls to Australia against New Zealand. Some of the more successful young drivers managed to put in well over 20 runs during the day. That ensured the pit crew mums and dads were kept good and busy. The climax of the event was the feature bracket, the Rocket Industries Junior Dragster titles. Second generation Castrol star Ben Bray was the defending champion after winning the inaugural event in Canberra last year. He departed early though, losing in the first round. The upsets didn't finish there, with newly crowned Australian champion Kelly Betts also bowing out in the opening stanza. Willowbank track champion Mark Allen lasted a little longer, but by the semi-finals, Shane Tucker in the Performance Wholesale car was the lone Queenslander remaining. Unfortunately, his great run came to a halt with a minor mechanical problem. Two Victorian brothers, Jason and Brendan Maggs, were left to fight out the final in the Team Pennzoil cars. Victory in that family feud went to Jason as the siblings scored a well-earned quinella. The event was capped off by a great presentation dinner at the track, with many winners sharing the spoils. Great credit must go to all the volunteers and sponsors who made the event possible, particularly Bill Mann of Performance Wholesale. His personal efforts and company sponsorship helped greatly to rescue a fantastic family day for our sport's future stars. Straight into round two of the Travel Air Tours Pro Stock Challenge, and it's the Fords going head-to-head. Joe Polito in the Dynamax car. He'll take on Wayne Daly in the Aircraft Engineering Falcon. There's actually a good chance that Joe Polito will be racing in the USA. He's had a lead into a Ford Pro Stock truck program, and he hopes to be heading over there.
Yeah, well, we've had some preliminary discussions with the team. And it looks good. I mean, like they've asked me to sort of do a bit of an engine program with them and also to drive the car and set the car up for them. So that's a thing that I'm really looking forward to.
Taking on this time Wayne Daly in this All-Australian Falcon. So the two Fords battling out here tonight. Willowbank Raceway, the Travel Air Tours Pro Stock Challenge.
Joe Polito has always used an air shifter in the car. He only had to press a button and it moved into the next gear. The American rules outlawed those recently, so you have to get used to the good old stick shifter again, and that's what Polito is testing here, and he's loose again, coming off the end of the concrete. Wayne Daly will get the win in the new Falcon. I think that's the first win for that car. Very fresh.
Rod O'Brien now, the Melbourne and O'Brien Pontiac, taking on the Lifestyle Australia car, and of course this is the Pontiac of Kim Petterwood.
O'Brien, a rookie, he's looking forward to this one.
Yeah, I just do my best, and hopefully if I can get a clean run, I might be able to beat him on the start line and maybe beat him at the finish line as well.
Rod O'Brien, he got a win in the first round over Joe Polito. If he can win here, he goes straight to the final. Likewise for Kim Petterwood. The Travel Air Tours Pro Stock Challenge run on a points basis, but these guys, if you end up with 2 wins from 2 starts, you're just about guaranteed a spot in that final. They're both after it. I think Petterwood's done the better off the start line.
Yeah, Petterwood getting off to a good lead here. I don't think the Pontiac can catch him. Here he goes through runs. Kim Petterwood, 792, 274.
Travel Air Tours Pro Stock Challenge. Kim Petterwood, you're the only guy that seems can get down the track in the 7.792, a 113 60-footer.
Well, yeah, we're impressed. Well, that's what it's here for. We're here to test the car, and we made some big changes today. And the motor's been there. The motor's got the power. Joe's given us a good engine, and we just had to work with a bit of power now, and it's in the clutch, and we seem to have struck on something, and we're just going to continue there, and unfortunately I can't take any more out of it tonight. That's it. What you see is what you get, so we're going to have to go home and work on a little bit more, but we're happy.
Well, Kim Petterwood will be racing either Tony Wedlock or Craig Hasted. Wedlock had a win in the first round despite the fact that he broke a rocker arm. The car was only running on 7 cylinders. He's up against the hot favourite Craig Hasted, and Tanya Campbell asked him about his chances.
Well, Tanya, this is pro stock. It's a bit premature, especially with the track like it is, for anyone to be talking about winning, so we'll take it one round at a time and see if we can keep having a little bit of fun.
Interestingly, while Wedlock was on 7 cylinders in the first round, so was Craig Hasted. A spark plug lead fell off, would you believe? So, well, this time they're all on 8 cylinders, and I think we're in for a hell of a race.
Yeah, tough ask this time. Both season competitive, and all of these Pro Stock competitors are so keen to win here tonight. Just waiting now for Wedlock. The lights go to green. This one flash of the amber. This is a pretty close race, Rob.
Have a look at this. Hasted's got some speed. He's coming on, but Wedlock hangs on for the win. 7.91. That's low ET.
Kim Pettlewood ran a 7.92 on the previous pass. You'll probably, you will race him in the final. You ran a 7.91, 1.12 60-footer.
Yeah, look, we've been chasing the clutch all day, so means it's finally come around. The last run we broke a rocker and it ran on 7 cylinders. So look, I'm really pleased. Look, Kim and I have raced a heap of times in the past, so look, it's still anyone's final.
Any of those traditional Wedlock games in the final?
Oh, look, who knows? Kim's famous for being called Mr. Wheeler, so we're both pretty well junkyard dogs when it comes to playing games. So we'll just have to take it as it comes, see what happens.
David Tucker in his new Camaro's next one out. He's got a solo run because, as I say, Cole Shaw hasn't been able to front. But interestingly, he's going to win this. But if he wants to win a spot in what we call a consolation final, he needs to run quicker than Rod O'Brien's 8.45 seconds. So, Paul, he can't afford to take it easy.
No, we'll see how he goes. As we said, his first pass in a pro stocker earlier on and planting the foot this time. He's around about half track. He's winding it up now. We need that good time. Through he goes at 8.38, 2.58.
That'll put him into the consolation final. Now we move back into top alcohol. It's the match race. Steve Harker, another brilliant burnout. He leads 1-0 at the moment. Gary Phillips is going to have to really pull one out of the bag.
Yeah, unusual to see Gary Phillips defeated. In fact, he's got such a record in Australian drag racing. But the opportunity here tonight, of course, for both of these guys to test their race cars. I think it's at the second round, Rob, of the Castrol Series in January. We'll see all the top alcohol cars back here again at Willowbank Raceway.
Well, guys, if that first race is anything to go by, we're in for a really close battle between the two of you for the remainder.
Yeah, well, that's why we're out here, to put on a show for the crowd. And yeah, that was good, seeing we haven't run for a few months.
Now, it was Gary's turn to have a bit of a sleep on the lights that time, which gave you the win because that's all there was in it. How do you plan on facing the next round?
Well, we'll just try and tune it up a little bit and try and repeat. That's all you can try and do. It's car went good. We weren't trying to rotate the earth. We're just trying to creep up on it. So yeah, we were pretty happy with that. It was a good race.
Gary Phillips in the Lucas Oils car is really an awesome opponent at the best of times. Steve Harker, he can wrap it up here. He's got one on the board already. You keep an eye on this dragster. I am sure that Phillips will have stepped it up.
Waiting now for both of them to move in. The one flash and they're away. Once again, it's Steve Harker in the funny car. Gary Phillips is falling behind. It's Harker, 589, 380.
That's good fun.
Steve Harker, 2-0 to defeat of Gary Phillips tonight. Gary, a little bit out of shape, but you're 589 at 238 on rails.
Yeah, well, we didn't want to try and step it up too much. The track's probably not as good as it could be, and we just sort of thought we'd stay conservative and try and just have some fun.
The Honda Indy Carnival on the Gold Coast always provides a great weekend of fun and racing, and once again the Triple M drags added to the excitement. A record 48,000 fans packed the grounds on the Friday, with 40 of the country's best drag racers blasting down Pitt Straight that night. It formed a 2-hour showcase for the sort of action provided by Willowbank Raceway at its events. The demonstration was headed up by the awesome Aussie Invader jet dragster of Roscoe McGlashan. He had the huge crowd screaming for more with one of the best afterburner fire shows seen in years. While Roscoe was making the flames, Frank Gaffiro's Bandag Bullet truck was providing the smoke screen. He certainly enhanced his reputation with another fantastic performance. Big burnouts were the name of the game all night, with Brett Stevens' V6 Jack Daniels bike destroying a tyre in one go. Andrew Searle's Acme Fiberglass Custom line was also right up there amongst the best, him laying down 3 huge burnouts on his one trip down the track. The demonstration provided a great cross-section of the sport right through junior dragster, modified, super comp and onto a big field of top comp cars. Other features included a number of pro stockers, top door slammers, and even Steve Reed in the alcohol funny car. Unluckiest racer of the night was Castrol's Victor Bray. He broke a supercharger drive on his high revving burnout and couldn't complete the run. The only one more disappointed than the crowd was Victor himself. The demonstration certainly generated some great PR for championship drag racing in Willowbank Raceway. It provided extensive newspaper and national television exposure.
Time now for Wreckers Hotline Top Comp semi-final. Debbie Reed in the Reed Transport Dragster taking on the JP Racing Chevy Corvette of John Payne.
This really should be a killer race. John Payne is one of the most experienced bracket racers and supercharged sedan racers in Australia, bar none. But Debbie Reed, I don't know, this car with a 1471 supercharger, it seems to be doing it pretty easy at the moment, and I've never seen Debbie so focused. I think she is really looking for a big one tonight.
Certainly took their time this afternoon in qualifying, tinkering with the engine, but it's all business now. The important thing, of course, is consistency and reliability, and that's certainly going their way. The Corvette stage, so is Debbie Reed. What a great semi-final this will be. John Payne's out there in front. John Payne's going well in the Corvette. Debbie Reed needs to pedal hard. Here she comes, through for the win, 696, 268.
Have a look at this, the crew willing her on. Steve Reed, husband and crew chief. Yes, thank you.
Well, here she is, Debbie Reed, winner of the semi-finals, 696 at 167, chasing down and getting John Payne.
Yeah, that was really good. I couldn't believe I caught him so easy. I think he might have had a bit of a problem somehow. So I didn't see the light, but I think it was a pretty good one.
So you're going to the final, you don't care who you run, it's going to be a tough race?
Yeah, it'll be tough no matter who it is. I'm looking forward to it. I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank my sponsors, Jack Brothers Engineering, Bob Grant Automatics, the Converter Shop, Pennzoil, Champion. I don't think I forgot anybody.
Oh, it's the Castrol funny car now, Dean McLennan. He's taking on this time will be Russell Schaefer, the Caloundra Wreckers dragster.
Dean, great start to the new season. You put away the defending champ, Ton Coonan, in the first round.
Yeah, we think it's great. Last year we got our licence at this event, so this is one step further. Tommy beat us this time last year, so hopefully we can go on and do better things this year.
Paul, it's hard to imagine that Dean McLennan has only been licensed for this car for 12 months. I mean, he's just done so much with it, and now he is considered one of the front runners in Wreckers Hotline Top Comp at any event he goes to. Russell Schaefer, Dean McLennan, this will have to be just as tough as the last one.
Yeah, this race to see who races. Debbie Reed in the final. Russell Schaefer's going well. I think he's got the legs. Yes, 757, 263.
Have a look at this for a finish. McLennan comes all over the top of him, but just too late.
Russell Schaefer, a pretty close victory there, 0.05 of a second, 757 on a 752.
Geez, I didn't know where he was. I knew I got a better light. I backed off a bit and couldn't have been much in the final.
Well, you've got Debbie Reed in the final. How do you think you're going to go against that quicker car chasing you down?
I think it'll be all right. Yeah, she'll be all right.
Time now to move into the finals of all the support categories out here at the Travel Air Tours Pro Stock Challenge, and we start with Performance Wholesale Lunati Junior Dragster. This is the category for children aged 8 to 16 years of age. But these aren't toys, these are real dragsters, and they run fairly quickly over the 8th mile.
Another full field out here tonight, always very, very competitive, and these two competitors, Robert Adams and Renee Everett, who is it going to be? Oh, it's hard to pick it from here. Through they go. Renee Everett takes the win with a 10.06.
Both cars well over 100 kilometres an hour. Modified bike eliminator now. Dale Mason up against Kieran Horry, the Suzuki versus the Kawasaki. All of this racing on the dial your own handicap basis, the same as we see for Wreckers Hotline Top Comp. Now, Dale Mason was a guy that did very, very well at the Conica Winter Nationals earlier in the year. And Kieran Horry a little bit untidy off the start line. Mason, can he catch him?
Really needs to go pretty well. Let's wait and see who gets there first. Kieran Horry, 11.48 at 175.
Super Performance Super Street Eliminator now for cars running between 11.0 and 12.99. Mark Smith in the Monaro up against Steve Sander.
Steve Sander in the Holden Tirana, the Little General. Watching the lights as it Smith goes through, and would you believe, a red light for Smith. So it'll be Steve Sander in the Tirana who'll go through and take the win.
Looks like Smith's going to drive it out the door in frustration. He goes across the line first, but it doesn't matter. Sanders the victor.
Final now of Prager Performance Super Sedan. Alan Farrer in the Commodore, taking on this Chevy Monza of Chris Wicks.
Craigar Performance Super Sedan always provides some fantastic racing, and all the way through today it has just been so tight. Just to get to this final, these guys have done extremely well, and one of them is going to really deserve this win.
Alan Farrer being chased by the Monza. Who's it going to be? It's the Commodore, 977 and 211.
Kenlo Race Cars Modified Eliminator. These guys have been really turning it on all day as well. Bob Millett in the Chevy-powered T-Bucket up against Rodney Hanson. He's got a Holden V8 in his version of Henry Ford's 23T. Gets a small handicap start. Now Millett's got a chase.
Millett's got to go really hard to catch him because, Rodney Hanson's going well. It's Millett, 910 at 213.
Have a look at this on the Wreckers Hotline replay. 1/1000th of a second was the margin.
So the final now of Morgan and Wacker Competition Bike Eliminator is the Harley Davidson of John Parker taking on the Kawasaki of John Aiden.
Parker on the Morgan and Wacker Harley Davidson had a good season last year, ended up equal first in points, but lost the championship on the tiebreaker, would you believe? John Aiden, he's having his best meeting for quite some time on this Kawasaki, and is looking strong.
The Harley Davidson there, and John Parker in the wheel. Who's it going to be this time? Morgan and Wacker bringing us the final.
Handicap apply. It's run on the Group 2 National Performance Index system. There's no breakouts. They come out fairly evenly. I think John Aiden did a little bit better off the line there. Looks like the Kawasaki will have the legs.
John Aiden, through he goes, an 891.
That one was certainly all won and lost on the line. Aiden a little bit slicker.
The final coming up now, Crower Super Comp final. John Sting and the Buick-powered Dragster taking on John Mars in the Chevy-powered Celica.
Yeah, this car now running in G-Gas for Trevor Mars, and he has really stepped it up. Caught a few people by surprise through the rounds in Crower Performance Products Super Comp Eliminator. John Sting, well, he won the 97-98 Super Comp Series. Although he won the point score, he actually never won a meeting with this car. He was runner-up so many times it wasn't funny. He has been in the semi-finals. I don't think I've ever seen him go out before the semis. Now, he will be trying to break through for his first win with that car, but Trevor Mars, he has been very, very strong all the way through eliminations.
Advantage off the line. We'll wait and see. There goes Trevor, waiting now for the Dragster to charge after him. Dragster starting to wind up. This big power in this Buick engine, and the Dragster 716 297.
Have a look at this. He has just got him, and it's a great win.
John Sting, the A Dragster, just absolutely flying today for Crower Super Comp, and forcing Trevor Master on the nation's quickest G-Gas pass. That A Dragster was really hauling down the deep end.
Yeah, I don't know what we run, but finally we've wiped the bridesmaid role.
Final now of Wreckers Hotline Top Comp Eliminator. Debbie Reed to take on Russell Schaefer. Two Chevy-powered dragsters, two very quick motor cars, and two very determined drivers.
Very determined, Rob, because this bracket is so competitive that they know in the track championship there was a real advantage being able to get away with a win here tonight. Debbie Reed just moving it back there. Russell Schaefer doing likewise.
The Wreckers Hotline Top Comp Series is just the pot of gold that these guys want. Russell Schaefer got very close to it last year and he wants it pretty badly this year.
I know last year we got like runner-up and we missed like the first 3 meetings getting the car ready. Hopefully this year like the car's sorted, should run perfect and hope to do really good.
So a confident Russell Schaefer there, waiting now for Debbie Reed to move in. Russell Schaefer has deeply staged the dragster. The lights go down, but a red light there for Russell Schaefer. Handing the win this time to Debbie Reed. So it'll be Debbie Reed who powers through there in the Chevy dragster with a 695 304.
Very happy crew, and rightly so.
That 1471 supercharger on board. Are you looking to step up at the next couple of meetings with this car, just sneaking up on it?
Yeah, Stephen likes to do things slowly, so that's probably the way we'll do it, but there's a lot more there to go. We couldn't play around with it much tonight, especially once we started racing, because it's a doll your own thing. So, but yeah, hopefully that next meeting will be 200. I've been looking forward to it.
As this is the opening round of the Winter's Smash Repairs Willowbank Track Championships, let's take a look at the scoreboards and see who's grabbed those early points. In Performance Wholesale Lenati Junior Dragster, it's Renee Everett from Robert Adams. Superformance Super Street has Steve Sander out in front from Mark Smith. Modified Bike has got Kieran Horry out in front of Dale Mason. Craigar Super Sedan, Alan Farrer from Chris Wicks, but have a look there, defending champion Juan Kudnik lurking in third and not far away from it. Kenlow Racecars Modified Eliminator, Bob Millett started the season the right way with a win. Rodney Hansen is right behind him. Morgan and Wacker Competition Bike has John Aiden on the Kawasaki out in front, but the Harley Davidson riding John Parker isn't too far away on 75. In Performance Wholesale Super Comp, John Sting, the defending champion, has taken his first win in the dragster. He's out in front from Trevor Mars. The hard-fought Wreckers Hotline Top Comp category sees Debbie Reed with a win. She's on 100 points. Russell Schaefer, last year's runner-up, is right behind her, but keep an eye on John Payne and Dean McLennan.
So the consolation final now of Travalair Tours Pro Stock Challenge. Craig Hasted driving the Ford Thunderbird, taking on Dave Tucker in the Camaro.
Fantastic performance by Dave Tucker, making the consolation final at his first Pro Stock event. And it really is a great concept, the Travalair Tours Pro Stock Challenge. We run the two finals, consolation and the main final. And of course it's thanks to Travalair Tours, and they have put together a great deal at the moment. Under $2,000 and you go to the US for the NHRA Winter Nationals in February. 6 nights accommodation, airfares, everything you could want, including entry into the track, rental car. Travalair Tours using drag racing to promote their business. It's doing pretty well, but it looks like Dave Tucker's not doing quite so well. He's got a problem.
That'll be Craig Hasted here in the Ford Thunderbird for Craiger Performance, driving it through. Watch his time as he completes his pass of 789, 273.
That's the quickest run of the night. He changed the diff gears back and it worked. The big final now, this is it, the Travalair Tours Pro Stock Challenge Final. Tony Wedlock in the Ultimate Financial Group Pontiac up against Kim Petterwood in the Lifestyle Pontiac. And Paul Casos, that's the biggest Pro Stock burnout I have ever seen.
Always the showman is Tony Wedlock, taking on Kim Petterwood, the Lifestyle Pontiac.
These guys are very experienced Pro Stock racers. They are both known to be very competitive when it comes to the start line. Neither one of them is going to want to stage first. Tony Wedlock signalling fairly dramatically to the start of the cruise come out. I hope we're not going to see another solo in a final. Just trying to get the message across over the noise of the engine. They're going to the boot. There's two things in there. One's the battery and the other is the air bottle. It has the compressed air for the shifting mechanism. I'd say it'll be one or the other they are worried about. Thumbs up there, Wedlock's into race.
Now they're staged, the lights go to green, both clean greens. What a race this time. Petterwood's having a problem there. So it'll be Tony Wedlock to power on through and take the win tonight. An 8.23 at 2.67.
Great performance from Tony Wedlock. His car was very loose over near the centre line. Kim Petterwood also slippery, and I'd say lost a gear.
Tony Wedlock winning the Travel Air Tours Pro Stock Challenge. What was the problem on the line?
Well, I don't think we've had any air in the air shifter. So Kim was very gracious in waiting for us to do that. So yeah, I just had the boys check to make sure that the air was turned on because I didn't think like we had any. So I got to take my hat off to Kim. I probably actually upset him a bit on that run. The car got pretty loose on that pass, and I wouldn't be too surprised if Kim backed off because we were so loose. So, you know, it's one of those things. We'll take it, but maybe we shouldn't have it, you know.
Congratulations anyway, Tony. You're a worthy winner, considering that all the preparation you've done is wash the car.
Yeah, look, this is probably the slackest preparation we've ever done, you know. Like, work's been extremely busy, so with the cars had to suffer, and, you know, look, we'll take the win any way we get it.
Congratulations, Tony Wedlock.
Thank you very much.
The next event at Willowbank Raceway will be headlined by the Coca-Cola Wild Bunch on November 28th. It'll feature all the local stars of supercharged sedan racing, plus drivers from North Queensland, Sydney, Canberra and even Darwin. Alfie Sabello has retired his beautiful BMW, but plans to debut a brand new HSV Commodore at the meeting, and you can bet it'll be awesome. In typical Wild Bunch style, the event will be burnouts, bigger burnouts and huge burnouts, fast racing and great entertainment. Keep an eye on your TV guides for Wreckers Hotline Drag Racing 98 coverage in early December. But remember, there's nothing like being trackside. For more information, check out Willowbank Raceway's website. We'd like to thank Travel Air Tours for their support of today's Pro Stock Challenge. Don't forget Travel Air Tours' $1,995 inclusive trip to the USA Winter Nationals in Los Angeles this February. You can phone Travel Air or access their website for details. We look forward to having your company again next time on Wreckers Hotline Drag Racing 98.